Yes, people. What's going on? Welcome back to United View. Welcome to another morning show, man. It's myself, Fleck, taking you lot through the news. Big up each and every single one of you, man. Let's get some love in the chat. Flex is missing, says someone right there. No, not at all, Flecknology. No, not at all. I've even got the poll in the chat to make sure you lot are liking up the thing. There is a poll in the chat straight away. Have you liked the video? Doing it now or, what did I even put? Doing it now or already done, bro? That's what I put. I've pinned that right there. Yeah, so make sure you guys smash a like straight on the way. And basically 200 people watching already straight away. Let's get the first 100 likes through the door. A big show. I initially wanted to talk about the squad building exercise, the squad building challenge that Ruben Amorim has, and what it's going to look like. Obviously, Kienda and Liam Delap, Dorgu's already in there, etc., etc. And I still will talk about that. But, however, the ghost, the wraith, the phantom, my goat, my legend, Raphael Varane, has done an exclusive interview with The Athletic, which is quite eye-opening, actually. So I actually want to start with that because he says some interesting stuff. I'm not going to lie. Owen will be back this evening as well. We've got the full view. So everyone's saying, where's Owen? Where's Owen? He'll be back this evening. So, check out the full view tonight. We've got that coming at 7 p.m, which actually, I forgot that Villa are kicking off at 7:30. Massive game. Probably not ideal, that. But don't worry. We'll do half an hour hate watch as well through that as well. But yes, we'll be live at 7 p.m. for the full view. So you guys check that out. Is Varane back? No, Varane is not back. Don't gas me. He's not back out of retirement. I don't wish that for him. He needs to rest. But he was lifting the lid on a lot of stuff at Man United. He was lifting the lid on his relationship with Erik ten Hag, lifting the lid on what it was like inside the dressing room during his time at Man United, and made some massive comparisons, as you would think, between Manchester United's running and Real Madrid's running of their respective clubs. And it is it's a great read. Danny Luciano says 18 away from 100 likes. There you go. The first one's going to be in there. First 100. Rhino 94, I think, speaks for all of us. Doesn't matter what you've made of Rashford leaving and this, that, and the other. It's not about that. We all agree. Rise against Liverpool, Rashi. I spoke to Dan Bardell yesterday. He says that Rashford will definitely start. I don't know if that means that's true or not. But even of the last couple of games, you'd think that he should start this game. Ready at Villa Park against Liverpool. Rashford, he's going to be ready. He's going to be ready, mate. So, yeah, we do want to watch that later on. Rashi Magic tonight, 100%. Dr. Tonmoy says, Flex, love you, bro. Big up to you. Big up to you. And Proofs in the Pudding says, Player X. And squad building challenge is going to take 6 transfers, says Kenny Fan TV. Do you mean transfer windows as well? Or do you mean just actually 6 players? Let me know. Because 6 players already got one through the door of one he likes. Obviously, Aiden Heaven will wait and see, but we know Dorgu's straight in. So let's see what happens there. Leander says, big ups Flex all the way from South Africa. Shout out to my South Africans in the place right about now. Right. Footy Tahar says, Varane exposing everything. Let's talk about what my goat had to say. The ghost, the wraith, the phantom. If you're new to the channel or thinking, why am I going so extra about Varane? If you know, you know. If you don't, I just love the guy. I just think he oozes class. He was my favorite. We talk about Player FC. I ain't going to lie. I was the biggest leader of the Raphael Varane Defense League and everything he did. Met him in person quite a lot of times. Spoke with him quite a few times. I've even given him hugs. I love this man so much. Big up to Raphael Varane, and always gutted when he was injured. Obviously, his knees just couldn't do it. But you lot know, I love Raphael Varane. No sound. Is that for everyone? Is that just hopefully that's just you, Smitty? You might just have to refresh because as far as I'm aware, my thing's sartot. Everything's nice. The sound is sounding, or is it not? Let me know. Sound okay? There you go. Big up to you, top player. Right, let's get into what he said. He spoke about his relationship with Erik ten Hag, which was interesting because, listen, and the reason why I'm talking about this is not just, to talk about old stuff, but actually it's been quite prevalent now, some of the revisionism that gets done. So obviously, in the media, they're saying that United were obviously better with Ten Hag. Should he even have left? People saying, the football is worse now. Amorim's not as good as Ten Hag. The revisionism kicks in. But let's get into it. Varane describes his relationship with Ten Hag as a bit idiosyncratic, bit odd, bit different. You know what I'm saying? Bit strange. It's hard to find the right words. It was very tense at times. Sometimes he made an effort to listen to the players' feedback. Sometimes he made decisions without listening to the players' feelings. So there were ups and downs. It goes on to talk about when he was left out of the squad between October and December. Do you remember? Sorry, when he didn't play in that Manchester derby, then there was a bit coming out. I remember United Mendes at the time was sort of putting out news saying that he's Ten Hag's not sorry. It's not all is well with Ten Hag and Varane. According to Varane, Ten Hag did not offer him an explanation for leaving him out, other than it was for best for the team. We had a robust discussion. He said we told each other some truths, but then I didn't play for almost 2 months. I said I didn't agree with certain ways of doing things regarding the relationship between him and the team. It wasn't something I thought was good for the team because some of the players weren't all satisfied. It was not good in terms of the relationship with the coach. He said, okay, I hear what you said. And after that, I didn't play. So clearly they fell out because Varane's gone in there and said, bro, what you're doing, how you're managing this squad, the players aren't happy. Now, this brings us to the Player FC bit where people will say, good. They will say, good, these players, this, that, and the other. And this is the thing, right, that we don't like discussing because we know the players are criminals and they've done this multiple times. But it is very important in management. Your ability to get players to follow you and buy into what you're doing is almost your most important currency as a coach. Over your tactics, over your philosophy, over your training sessions, over your recovery sessions, all of that stuff there I think is secondary to can you inspire? Can you galvanize a squad of 24 guys to all follow what you're saying? Right? Now, that is the biggest thing. If you can't do that, then you're in trouble. So we're seeing stuff about Amorim now. They're saying they're not on the same page and this, that, and the other. And Eric Ten Hag has basically had the same situation, too authoritarian. Varane's basically saying that the players weren't taking like kindly to it. He went to try and go see him. Then the man didn't play for however many games. So he was like, all right, cool. Like, I'm just letting you know it's not going down well. And if you're talking about, and this is why it's an interesting example, because if you're talking about top players and Player FC and players not complaining and doing the right stuff, model pros, Varane is that. There isn't somebody out there who can say that Varane is a prima donna who doesn't understand standards. This is a guy that's won everything: 4 Champions Leagues, the World Cup, Nations League. What else has he won? Countless cups and stuff at Real Madrid as well, Spanish Cup. So this is a player who knows what a dressing room should be like, and he expressed, different views. He said he always needed. He said Ten Hag wanted to gain respect through fear, perhaps. He always needed an example of a player who was alone the entire time he was at Manchester United. He did that. He did that with at least one important player on the team. He was always in conflict with certain leaders of the group. That is his way of managing. So that's interesting. He's basically saying he always had to single someone out. He wasn't treating them all fairly. Now, if you look at it, you look at someone like Anthony, who was playing all them games at that time, and you're like, how comes this guy keeps playing? And then, listen, I don't stand with Jadon Sancho and how he dealt with the situation, but this feeds into what Varane is saying about maybe the fairness and how he dealt with players wasn't well. And that's a big line, saying that this bit here, saying he wanted to gain respect through fear, perhaps. He always needed an example of a player who was alone the entire time he was at Manchester. He always needed an example. That's quite strong from Varane. He's basically saying he's always trying to single someone out. That's deep. Like, we can read it and kind of go over that. But when you actually deep that and read that properly, you're going, rah, you know what? Varane's basically saying that he wanted to make an example out of someone at all times. Not like a bullying thing, but he's leading with an iron fist and he's trying to make an example out of someone. Remember Ten Hag's reasoning at the time. Yeah, exactly. It was tactical. says it was tactical, but really it's because Varane's gone in there and said, listen, bro, I know what dressing rooms look like. Big boy dressing rooms. Real Madrid, 10 years, brother. But this ain't it. He also goes on to say, I also have to recognize what was good about Ten Hag's management. He gave me the peace of mind to come back from injury to play in the FA Cup final. He was counting on me. That was very positive because it allowed me to play my role in the team, says Varane. We had ups and downs. I can't say everything was bad. There were complicated moments. So, look, on the Ten Hag thing with the revisionism, what my point is that he basically contributed to, you know, the players not following suit, the players not wanting to do what he said. And to link it to Ruben Amorim, because people will say, how is this relevant to now? To make that link, we're begging, some people are getting onto Ruben Amorim proper to change back to what Eric Ten Hag was doing with this team, to change back to what was failing clearly, very, very clearly with this squad of players under Eric Ten Hag. Go back to that. How does that make any sense when you're reading what Varane's saying and how shit he's saying it was? Why on earth would we go back to that? It doesn't make any sense at all. It really, really doesn't. He says Eric Ten Hag was named the permanent manager in April 2022. Take over after Varane, played under Oli and Carrick for a short spell and Radnick. It was the opposite, he says, with fairly rigid. This is talking about his coaching style was stark contrast to Varane's Madrid experience. This is Eric Ten Hag. It was the opposite, he says, with fairly rigid patterns of play defined in advance. There was very little flexibility in terms of adapting on the pitch. The game plans were very, very precise with lots and lots of information. It was different. As an instinctive player, Varane preferred more autonomy, which he had at his previous club and with France. We could say to each other, you have to do it more like this, instead of a system that was, let's say, a bit blocked by the coach's instructions. So he's saying, even with Eric, there wasn't room for flexibility in terms of adapting on the pitch. The game plans were very, very precise, with lots and lots of information, maybe sort of alluding to an overload of information. And they weren't able to sort of say to each other, maybe you can do it more like this, maybe try this, maybe try that. They were locked in. And again, to link that back to Ruben Amorim now, we're kind of in that same situation where he's staying with what he has to do, where he's staying with that. He's staying with that level of scrutiny, that level of sort of repetitive nature about what's going on. He's staying with that, Ruben, and the players are struggling. These are the same players who moaned about Eric Ten Hag. Do you know what I'm saying? Soraya says that Real Madrid's team was full of superstars with elite mentality. They didn't need much of coaching. And there are big differences between the two, especially with the quality of players and how the clubs are run. But the biggest one is the second one, how the clubs are run, which I'll talk about in a minute. Let's get the super chats out. Luyanda says, where you think we finish in the season, Flex? I'll be honest, it's going to be between 15th and 17th, I'm going to say. 15th and 17th, I'm going to say. I cannot... I just maybe 14th and 17th. I'll put it up a little bit because I just don't know. We're not going to win enough games to get past. Well, it doesn't feel like it. I say that we are 1 point off Tottenham, who are 12th. So I suppose it can change. It can really, really change. And we're 5 points off 11th. So there's a lot that can happen. But the rate we're going to keep losing games, I think we'll finish between. 14th and 17th. I'll be honest. We might even finish with exactly where we are, 15th. Will West Ham go past us? Could do in a couple of games. But I don't think Wolves will. So I don't think we'll go lower. I'll stick with that. I don't think we'll go lower than 16th. Look at what I'm even saying on a Wednesday morning at 9:21. Mad thing. Ray Carl Brown says, this club is full of shit. When they fall, they lose games for spite, but okay for them to talk it. Us fans get it more because okay for them to talk it. Us fans get it more because we are not getting paid to watch them. When they stop it and win games, when they stop it, when they fall, they lose games for spite. Who you saying they lose on purpose? We saying they lose on purpose, Ray? Ray's vexed though. He ain't having it. Ray is not having it. And Dora Hydro says Amorim should not change his tactics just for some tweaks, and drop Bruno Fernandes. I don't think we should be dropping Bruno Fernandes. I think we need to find a space where he doesn't have to do as much run. He's someone who's gonna, at a time when we can't score goals, we should not be dropping Bruno Fernandes. I don't agree with that. But with what we've got, I mean, is him playing in that 6, doing a lot of running from inside to out and this, that, and the other? Is that the best place for him? I don't think it is. But it's been needs must because we've had to squeeze in other players further forward. So it's just imbalanced. They're just not comfortable in certain positions, which is why it's difficult. I want to talk about what Varan said about the difference between the clubs as well. He was basically saying, actually, no, this bit here is very interesting. Actually, towards the end of the FA Cup final, this now leads into INEOS. This now leads into INEOS because everything, again, when you talk about past stuff, you can always say, yeah, but that's in the past. What's it got to do with now? INEOS is still here, clearly, and making some bad decisions, clearly. Here's what Varan said just after the FA Cup final. So I wanted the best for the team. Sometimes I said things to the coach, not for me, but for the team, or because players felt things. So I'm a voice of the changing room. I'm a leader in here. I can talk on behalf of them. My motivation was to achieve with the team, to make fans happy, and above all, to experience the feeling of entering the pitch as a gladiator who returns victorious. It's the best feeling because he's a serial winner. In the build-up to the game, the 2-1 victory we had over City, there was obviously loads of uncertainty about Erik ten Hag. He said the manager admitted after the game that he didn't know whether it had been his last match in charge. But following the end of season review, United's new co-owners, Jim Ratcliffe and INEOS, etc., decided to stick with him. And Varane says, I was surprised he stayed. The connection with the group no longer existed. So INEOS, again, the communication and the relationship has broke down with the squad. He's basically lost that. Varane saying there's nothing there. INEOS were thinking about changing him, didn't. And even Varane's like, I'm shocked he stayed. I'm shocked he stayed. And then he goes on until he's saying about his contract was running to 2024 with an option. And at the time, obviously, it was John Murtough and Brel, so it was clear that the club and player were not aligned. He said, I don't know who the coach would be. I didn't know who the coach would be. I didn't know if they wanted to change the squad a lot or not. I had no visibility, so it's difficult to commit when you don't know exactly what you're committing to. And he says it was problematic, and they mutually agreed to terminate his contract, which we all know he went on to retire as well. But he noted, however, the key differences in the running of the organization compared with how it was done at Madrid. And this is the bit I really want to talk about, because this is the bit that basically not alleviates Ruben Amorim, but when you understand, Wasabi says that, wow, that's damning. It is damning. It is very, very damning. Wasabi, this is the bit I want to talk about, because someone rightly said about, they didn't need much coaching at Real Madrid, this, that, and the other. But at the end of the day, the key differences and the reason why we're so effed is because of the structure. And Varane, again, don't take my thing for it. We will listen to World Cup winning Varane that goes to Rafe de Phantom, because he will speak facts. He's a top pro, and these are his observations. He said this. He said, even from inside as players, there wasn't a clear structure on how things were going to work. This is at Man United. There hasn't been a fixed methodology for years. At Madrid, they have a defined way of doing things at every level of the club. At United, it was not clear or defined enough to know how to recruit, how to play, and how to communicate. There weren't the same procedures, processes, or structure. It's not one person's responsibility. That's the problem. We don't even know whose fault it is. It has to be in the overall structure of the organization. There were too many people involved in the decision-making process, so we didn't know who was really making the decisions. I can't say who was responsible. I don't know. It was a bit of everyone and a bit of no one. Oh my days. Just rewind that back. There's a lot to unpack there. And look, we can all say, we know the Glazers. Like, do you know what I'm saying? We know that it stemmed from the Glazers. But INEOS have then come in as well. You know, there was a little bit while he was there. There was still Edward Wood and no, Edward Wood wasn't there then because that was gone. But Richard Arnold, John Murtough, etc. would have been there. But that is scathing. That is scathing of the observation. No, broski, I'm not going to spend the whole morning talking about this. I'm going to finish off the article and then talk about Amorim's squad building challenge. I'm not going to spend the whole morning talking about this, broski. But this is important. So if you're not really feeling it, I don't know, maybe come back in a bit. But I think this is really important. He's basically saying that no one has a clue what they're doing in the organization. No one has a clue. Even from inside as a player, there wasn't a clear structure on how to do things and how they work. Like it was not clear or defined enough to know how to recruit, how to play, or how to communicate. There weren't the same procedures, process, and structures. And this is what Ruben Amorim has walked into. They're trying to fix it. Of course, they're trying to fix it. But this is why the problems are existing. Ruben Amorim's walking into a place that doesn't know how to communicate, they don't know how to play football, and they don't know how to recruit. It's all being addressed now, but this is why it's so tough. It's not one person's responsibility. We didn't even know whose fault it is. Absolutely crazy. He said at Madrid, you can see that for years, there's been a framework. A player is added, some leave, but there is always a solid foundation. When you recruit young, talented players, they have to learn before they can play. It gives them time to develop. When I arrived at the age of 18, I had no responsibilities in the dressing room. I was just there to learn. And listen to what he says about United. At United, they can recruit a very expensive young player and immediately play him with all the responsibilities in an extremely difficult league. He has got a huge weight on his shoulders straight away. Varane feels that United have succumbed to the pressure of expectation. You have to be able to build a long-term strategy while resisting the daily pressure and matches every 3 days. That was difficult. For years, the fans have been expected to win. Those who take the decisions to achieve these goals want to achieve them straight away. You have to be calm in the storm, in the knowledge you are building something. Sometimes when the storm comes, we needed to make quick decisions, change something. At Real Madrid, people accept the pressure. And it's crazy. Like what he goes on to say, during the years at United, Varane shared a dressing room with, oh no, hold on, this bit here. He says, when I say that the players are in the best conditions at Madrid, it's because we're trying to protect them from that pressure. There's enough pressure already playing. That's why there was a bit of a protective atmosphere around the players at Madrid. So listen, he's basically, again, look at the young players. The young players that would look at someone like Garnacho. Now, we didn't bring him in for a significant fee, but the pressure that's been placed upon him. Look at Rasmus Højlund last season. Brought him in 74 million of, with add-ons included, right? Total package, right? 70 odd million pounds for Rasmus Højlund. Play him straight away. No help. So these are the failings of the club. They're being exposed. They're being exposed. Ray Carl says, spot on, Varane, a bunch of jackass at our club. Just lunatics running the asylum. Do you know what I'm saying? Ridwan says, been saying this. They overplay kids and make the starters. Exactly. We should have experienced players with kids off the bench, not the opposite. Exactly. Exactly that. Exactly that. Varane did leave when the new guys arrived, though. What was before was terrible, throwing money into the toilet. Yeah, exactly. And look, but INEOS was still there for going into their first window, so he hadn't experienced the window with INEOS, etc., etc. But the bit that he did pick up on was the fact that Ten Hag was on his last legs, and he still basically stayed. And Trisfit says he's right about unrealistic expectations on young players at United. Exactly. We do it all the time. And then we're cussing out Garnacho, saying he's so wasteful. He's this, he's that. Far from the finished article. Shouldn't even be starting all the games that he's doing. Last year, he started like 35 games in a row, something like that. Should never be happening. That was his second season. His first season, he was in and out of the bench, coming on and off the bench. Second season, he was a full starter. No Sancho, no Rashford, no Anthony to help. Nothing. And Ten Hag doing a madness on Ahmad as well at the same time. Obviously, Ahmad was injured, I think, for a bit. Then, still no love for Ahmad. So I just think it's a very good piece from Raphael Varane to talk about basically the differences between the two institutions and how broke Man United actually is, because it's very, very damning. Very, very damning. He bigs up Bruno Fernandes as well. I think that's probably his best friend at the club, saying that Bruno, along with De Gea and Marcus Rashford, were the players at the club who impressed him the most. Even in difficult moments, they are capable of doing extraordinary things. It's difficult to perform well individually when the team is struggling. You have to be very, very strong. So he's bigging up those guys. And he said he was surprised that Rashford went to somewhere so close, though. He's someone who loves the club and who gives everything but for the shirt. But I'm surprised he's going to a club so close to Manchester. I imagined him going further than a few kilometers away. So, interesting. Despite some of his frustration, Varane has fond memories of his time at Man United and says he had an overall positive experience. He learned a lot. Loved the fans' pride, 100%. It was a huge source of motivation, and we wanted to repay the love they gave us on the pitch. He says we were ready to fight, and even in difficult situations, we never gave up. So that's the crux of it. On that, if you want to see the whole thing, go check out The Athletic. It's on there. But good piece. I could not pass up on the chance to hear, the chance to hear from the ghost of Rafe the Phantom, my guy. I'm saying my guy. Where are we at with likes? Super chats have been done. Oh, here we go. Raycast is sorry. I was angry when I typed it. I meant they always falling out with each other and don't win games when they're gonna stop it and win games. Big up. Yeah, he's Ray's composed himself now. Because just imagine, man, just typing in rage. Typing in rage, bro. But he's calmed down and made his point more clear. And yeah, the falling out of each other, the infighting, it happens when you lose game and you ain't got the right mentality as well. When they're just going to quit that and start winning games, I don't know, bro. I don't know. Hopefully Saturday 12:30 could be a start, even though I can't see that as well. The likes 288. We've got 1,000 people watching live, so let's push that up. It's not bad actually. We're on our way to 500. I think we can do that. But let's get to the 300. We're at 296 now. No, pretty much 300. Let's get to 400. Let's get to 400. Let's do it. Varane sounds like a great human being in general. Listen, I'm probably biased because, like I said, I love Varane. But anytime you speak to him, proper nice guy. Got time, has a chat, very welcoming, very warming guy. Always smiling as well. Wicked guy. Do love Varane. Amorim squad building challenge. With Kienda on the way in, what does that mean for the rest of the squad? Are we starting to see this in the image of Ruben Amorim? If you start with Kienda at right wing back, Dorgu at left wing back, a Liam Delap in there or an Osimhen, you're starting to see something. And this is the challenge he's got. How much money is he going to get to be able to do this? How much support and backing is he going to get to do this? Because with Varane, get Varane on the channel, I'd lose my mind if we got Varane on here. You lot know what that would mean to me. Imagine that, them green, if we got Varane on the channel. Maybe I can. I know the journalist who did the interview. Let me reach out to her. How did you get that? Could we get it? I don't think he would, though. But I would lose my mind. But with all the stuff that basically he just said, Varane, it puts into context, like, basically what has to change now. 100% Lil Yo-Yo. Believe. And we have to be honest. If that support is not there for Ruben Amorim, if the funds are not there for Ruben Amorim, which of course, like, is a big problem. We know that. He said we have to sell to buy. So if we're not good at executing deals to be ruthless enough to get players out of the building, then Ruben Amorim's challenge becomes even harder to rebuild this squad. If I say to you guys now, be honest, how many signings do you think we're going to get in the summer? How many signings do you think it will be? And the outgoings. We can go through them all together as well with the outgoings. How many signings do you think he's going to get? Is Kenda worth 50 million? And who are United bidding against? Yeah, at the moment we're not bidding against anyone, so that's why the 50 million euros that Man United want to bring that down. You know what I'm saying? Steffi Griffith said, "Did Varane speak highly of Casemiro?" He didn't really. Oh, I've clicked it off now. Flex love Varane confirmed. Oh, that's not confirmed now, bro. That's long time. Oh, that was ages ago. I've loved that guy for ages. Did Varane speak highly of Casemiro? I think I don't know. It wasn't specifically him. He just spoke about why Real Madrid was a serious place. Chalaboy comment says 2 signings. TV Frill saying 2 to 3 signings. I think we'll get more than that. But 7 to 8 signings, 5 out the door, says Kristen. I mean, imagine that. Imagine we get to these. I think that's probably a bit excessive. 7 to 8. I think we'll get 5. No, 4. 4. What did we do just now? We did Mazraoui, De Ligt, Yoro, Xerxes. I miss Ugarte. 5. I'll say 5. I'll say 5 again. I'll say another 5 again. Skiliano says we need at least 5 new outfield players to become a top 10 club. Yeah, I agree. I would say 5. And if you look at who's going out, it's hypothetical, and some are definite, some are hypothetical, some are really likely. Definites is Christian Eriksen, Johnny Evans, Victor Lindelof. They will come to an end. They're definites. Then likely Rashford, Anthony, Sancho's a definite as well. So that's 6 players there. That's 6 players. No funds, remember, says Michael. So that's 6 players. Out of them 6, who can get us some money? 25 million for Sancho, that's a definite. We're hoping for 40 million from Rashford, whether that's Aston Villa or someone else. That's 65 million raised. Malassi is out on loan with an option. So let's say he gets us 10 million. That's 75. Who else is there that I just... Anthony at Betis. Let's say, what do you think if Anthony keeps doing a madness? Could we get 30, 35 for Anthony? Let's just say 25. Just so I'm just, you know what I'm saying. So that's around about 80 odd million pounds, give or take a few pounds. At Mountain Shore, mate, no one's going to come in for them. So if we sell the right players, yeah, added in Malassi as well, Kenny. If we add up that, that's just under about 100 mil raised. What the Liga clubs have 35 mil flex. Okay, a little bit less. That's what I'm saying, 25. And the sale of Rashford allows us to spend more, exactly, because it's 100% profit. So generating the best part of just under 100 million pound in sales, which is so important. And that's, yep, if we've got a 40 to 50% sell on cause for Greenwood as well, says All Elite, that's true. So we'll see what happens with Mason Greenwood in the summer. If they sell him for 50 million, we can get a light 25 M's out of that, or 20 M's. Do you know what I'm saying? If it's a 40% for him, get a little bit less. So we can basically raise the best part of 100 million pounds with potentially 2 homegrown players as well. So this is career mode things, 100% Ridwan. So if we think about it, if we can raise 100 million, right? This is before we even, like, we will have money to spend in the window like we always do, whether it's 100 of our own or whatever. But just off 100 million, you know, if you're in the right ballpark for players that are 30 odd million on wages that are like 50k a week and shit like that, 60k a week, you should be able to get, like James was saying, like a few Dorgus, a few Kiendas. Do you know what I'm saying? Not if you pay 50 million for him, but 3, 6, 9. So that's about 3 players in the 30 million pound mark. Do you know what I'm saying? Which is where we're going to be at. Let's be honest. Liam Delap would probably be about that. Osimhen wouldn't be that. Kienda we're trying to get for around 30 odd million. Then, like All Elite says, this is now clicking on a little bit. The real question is, do you sell Garnacho in the summer to raise funds and get someone's better? I would, he said. And again, we saw what was going on with the serious interest from Napoli and Chelsea with Garnacho. They managed to keep hold of him in the end. But if somebody comes in again, clearly United will look at it. You know what I mean? What happens if someone comes in for Rasmus as well? If Serie A team comes back in for him, probably don't know what we'd get for Rasmus if they tried to sell him. Probably like 20 million, if that. But these are things that can happen. What we can't rule out, we've been told already with the Garnacho and Kobe thing, what if someone comes in for Kobe Mainu? Do you know what I'm saying? We don't know. So, yeah, I think like the money could be generated. I do think when we say it's doom and gloom and we're not going to get no players, we can't think that we're going to be in for the 80 million pound players, 70 million pound players, etc., etc. But it isn't as doom and gloom in terms of we're not going to get anyone. I think we'll make 5 signings, because this alone of the players who need to leave this football club are on their way out. And the problem is at Man United is that we have to initiate the exit process from early. That's basically what we're doing. In this, not gone are the days where we can get to the summer and sell effectively. Our players are on too higher wages. They usually dig their heels and don't want to leave. Maguire's done it a couple of times where he prefer to stay here, don't want to go West Ham, take a pay cut, etc. I want to play for Man United, and I'll take my chances, even though I'm not the main guy. That's actually worked out for him in the end. He's playing a lot of games now. You got players like, say, like Casemiro now coming out, 18 months left on his deal. I want to stay here. I don't want to leave. I want to stay here. So these types of things, Dallo 40 million minimum, someone comes in for him. So we have to understand that to start getting players out, you have to initiate the process. We don't just do it like that. Very rarely. We did it like that with Scott McTominay last year. We did it like that with Elanga the year before that. What's the catch there? Homegrown players. We did it with Mason Greenwood. Obviously, the situation that happened, but also, again, homegrown players. So those are the players we can sell. Anyone else who we've actually bought for big money, we've struggled. We've absolutely struggled to make them leave, and it has to be staggered out. Rashford's got to be staggered out. Jadon Sancho's got to be staggered out. Had to send him on a whole year's loan before we can actually sell him. Anthony had to send him a loan before we can actually sell him. Malacia has now gone on loan with the view to actually selling him. We did the same with Palestri, sent him on bare loans before being able to sell. The same with Hannibal. Do you know what I'm saying? Had quite a few loans that didn't really work as well before selling. So we've seen it. We've seen this happen. We've seen this happen. So we have to get a grip of the squad. We have to support Ruben Amorim, and they've got to give him. They got to give him. This is where I would expect Omar Barada. I was going to say Dan Ashworth then. Omar Barada, Jason Wilcox, Christian Vavell, and whoever else is involved behind the scenes. So Dave Brailsford or whoever's involved, whatever. They got to be flipping ruthless. They got to start kicking people out. They got to start threatening to do contracts, rip up contracts, and say, "Well, you're going. We've accepted bids." They have to. That is what they've been brought in for. When we got excited that we're bringing in Omar Barada from City and stuff like that, and saying, "Listen, this guy's like third in command at City, this, that, and the other." Well, we need to start seeing that now. Them days have ran out of jumping for glory. It's, oh my God, I can't believe we got him. INEOS are moving crazy. No one even knew. Do you remember how excited we were? Think back to that. And KG spoke about this yesterday on the Flex of KG show when he was like, we've gone from basically this to this very quickly. When we got Omar Barada, I remember going live straight away. We were like, oh my God, INEOS ain't playing. Nobody knew. It was just Ornstein bomber, I think it was. Man just came straight in. We're like, hold that, City. Wants to beat the 115 charges, this, that, and the other. We've got this guy now. We're serious club. Yep, they're getting Jason Wilcox in now. Yep, serious club. Dan Ashworth's going to come. Got to wait a bit for him, though. We're a serious club now. We've got a proper footballing department. Well, guess what? That department needs to start working now, because Sir Jim Ratcliffe, not everyone got hyped like that, Fleck. Not everyone. I'm just saying a lot of people. Fair enough. Lil Yo-Yo says, I wasn't on the hype train. Side eye, but clapped. No problem. I get that. And I take that. Not everyone, but a lot of people were. And a lot of people, well, also saw it as a positive. Do we agree with this? That we saw it as a positive, that we were at least constructing a football department that had specialists in it. That we can all agree on, I'm sure. We all agreed that, well, at least they're coming in and they're making the department straight away. Yeah. But they need to get to work, because it's all good INEOS tearing up people's contracts to say 30 grand a year from a man who earns 30k a year, or someone who earns 40k a year who's just got, a regular job at Old Trafford doing coaching or doing catering or doing cleaning, or I don't know, the analytics or the data stuff or the social media team or whoever it is, whatever team it is. Yeah. So after that, now you want to cut them jobs. Yeah. But the people that you're really employing to really get involved in the squad to cut that ain't doing their jobs properly. I want to hear the same energy. So I'm not saying get rid of these guys now. I'm saying we need to start seeing results in this summer. Do you know what I'm saying? Barada is here for the long haul. He's not here to make a quick fix. He's going to try and lay down foundations. Exactly. I agree with that. I do agree with that. 100%. And that is what needs to happen. We need to change the culture. Varan just said, in that piece of The Athletic. You've got to start being calm about things and understand where you are in your process and when the storm comes. But part of that is also executing stuff. We were told Omar Barada, implements this whole 2 years. If you've been here 2 years and you're not making it happen, you're done. Well, that's happened with Anthony, to be fair. That's happened with Jadon Sancho, to be fair, even though he's been here longer than that. The Rashford thing, it is what it is. And actually, it's happening with Terrell Malacia for different reasons. Don't get me wrong. He's had, bad knee injury. And overall, probably not the level. What's going to happen with Mason Mount? How are you going to deal with that? Because that's 2 ineffective years now. This year's done. He's done. So that's 2 years, £60 million we gave him, 200 odd grand a week, 250 a week, 220 a week, whatever it is. How are you going to address that? Rasmus Højlund, this is the 2nd year. We haven't seen enough. How are you going to address that? What about Rasmus then says for F48? This is what I'm saying. That's what I'm getting through. Luke Shaw, how are you going to address that? Now, the problem is, who's going to come in and try and buy Luke Shaw? I tell you who, nobody. Who's going to try and come in and buy Mason Mount? Nobody. So this is where the issue, is. And INEOS, which is what I'm saying, I don't know what you mean, Old Trafford TV, about spin, spin, spin. Flex have received his paycheck, INEOS out. No, I'm literally talking about INEOS and the people that they brought in better start working. That's exactly what I mean, because there ain't no free pass for these guys. Where are we at with the likes? We're at 397. We're basically at 400. Guys, do you know what? I ain't going to lie. 1,200 people watching. Big up to each and every single one of you. Let's get that 400 in the bag. And for the last bit of the show, come on, like 100 more. We can get to 500. Easy. Let's do it. You know what I'm saying? Let's do it. Quick one on Christian Eriksen, though, as well. Chris Wheeler said yesterday, Christian Eriksen plays down concerns over his health after he missed his Spurs game through illness. And it emerged that United were just taking extra precaution due to his historical heart issue. He posted online on Instagram. He said, looking ahead, he goes, I just want to thank everyone for the get well messages. I've been recovering after missing the Spurs game. I've been receiving, sorry. I picked up a virus like many people do at this time of the year. Nothing serious, and soon ready to get back to training. So, yeah, with obviously his heart condition and things that have happened to him in the past, we've got to be extra careful with that. Also, actually, I wanted to talk a little bit about Benni McCarthy because, again, you talk about the failings of the club. Now, some people spoke about this. Shout out Frank Amorim. Yeah, he did a tweet on this. I thought it was interesting. I want to bring it to you guys, and a lot of people have been talking this way. Basically, Benni, my guy, Quinton Fortune, my guy, Benni. Yeah, if you know, you know. Benni was talking about basically that United wanted Harry Kane, etc., and we went on to get Rasmus. I'll go through those quotes in just a minute. But Amorim said that this is why the Ten Hag built his squad narrative is so outdated. And he goes on to say, Ten Hag wanted Kane, he got Højlund. Ten Hag wanted De Jong, he got Casemiro. Ten Hag wanted Timber and Kim Min-jae for centre-backs, didn't get him. Ten Hag wanted Gakpo and Dumfries, didn't get him. It was John Murtough and Richard Arnold who failed us. Now, some of that is partly true. I say some of that. Some of that is partly true. But the bit that I think Frank's missing there, where I disagree and push back a little bit, the thing that he's missing there, for me, is Erik ten Hag still co-signed a lot of players and had a lot of say on a lot of players. Do you know what I'm saying? Let's be honest. He also wanted Anthony. Anthony's now playing at Real Betis. He also wanted Andre Onana. How's that worked out? Not great. You know what I mean? He brought in Amrabat. Little thing, just didn't really do anything. Wanted Mason Mount. We heard that he was he was spearheading the Mason Mount thing. Gave him the number 7 shirt. What's Mason Mount doing? So for every one of them signings that Frank's saying that, oh, he didn't get this, he didn't get his first choice this, didn't get his first choice that. Well, he did get it in other areas. And how has that worked out? Not great. And not everybody gets their first choices. Do you know what I'm saying? Like Show says, notice how that Ten Hag Glazer doesn't mention, where is that? Co-signed Onana, Martinez, Anthony, Casemiro, Højlund, Mount, Rashford, new contract, Shaw, new contract. There you go. So this Erik ten Hag revisionism, I don't get that. You know what I mean? And also, last time I looked at Kim Min Jae, it's probably a good thing we didn't buy him. See him last night. And in general, he hasn't been great as well. So I think we probably dodged a bullet on that one. But to say that, listen, the Eric Ten Hag was just dealt a bad hand, etc., etc. Nah, yeah, I'm not having that. I'm not having that. He did build that squad. It's not a lazy narrative. He did build the squad. He did. Ten Hag built this squad. He did build it. He spent over 700 million. Do you know what I'm saying? So he might not have been in control of all the fees, but he spent the money. The money has been spent by Eric Ten Hag. He got a chance and he effed it up. It's that simple. So yeah, I respect opinions. So shout out to Frank. I really like a lot of the stuff Frank posts actually. But I just didn't quite agree with that one fully. Some bits of it I do. Some bits of it I do. And other bits I don't. All Elite says, Benny just looking to get onto the coaching staff when Ten Hag is back in management. Not really. I don't know. It's just saying the truth, innit, of what happened. I mean, what else did he say, to be fair? Benny McCarthy. He said that Harry Kane, for me, was a complete package, but unfortunately the club didn't see it that way. He's just telling us what happened. They looked at it as Rasmus Højlund in the long run would be a more prized asset than investing in both Rasmus and Harry Kane. So we stopped pursuing Harry Kane, and we ended up getting just Rasmus, which is essentially what happened. Eric really wanted Harry Kane. Kolo Muani was very high on the list, and he still was just until recently. Victor Osimhen was also on that list, and he still is on it as well. But I felt that you're going to But I felt that if you're going to want to spend that kind of money, 100+ million, then you want the complete package, i.e. Kane. That would have been the best thing for Rasmus if he had someone like Harry Kane involved. So yeah, Harry Kane was Eric's number one target. Eric really wanted him. So look, it's no secret that, we really wanted Harry Kane. I get that. We really wanted him. It's no secret that Eric Ten Hag really wanted him, but they crunched the numbers. The Man United tax started kicking in as well. Daniel Levy started doing some nasty work with the quotes. And essentially, we couldn't afford it. But to then go and the problem was, if you can't get Kane, don't go and get someone like Rasmus Højlund. And that's the problem. That's the problem. I don't think people didn't think that Eric Ten Hag wanted Harry Kane. I don't think that. In Ten Hag's defense, says Holkin, let's bring that up on the screen. He shouldn't have been allowed so much autonomy. Exactly. No manager should. Having said that, far too many transfer mistakes under his tenure. Exactly. The hit rate was not hitting. It was not good. It really wasn't. Let's be real. Let's be real. It weren't like some of the players he bought, most of them, they haven't worked. We want them to leave already. Do you know what I mean? Lissandro is good, but let's be honest, there's like 3 big injuries now, so we have no idea how he's going to be. Rasmus Højlund hasn't worked. Onana hasn't worked. Anthony hasn't worked. Mason Mount hasn't worked. Casemiro overall hasn't worked. First in the good first season, best in his career, according to the man himself. But it hasn't worked. 350 grand a week, 5-year deal. Man's still here, wants to rinse it out. That move has not worked. So what moves under Eric Ten Hag have worked? Terrell Malacia hasn't worked. So what are we saying here? We've got Xerxes under Eric Ten Hag, which we're maybe starting to can't really judge that yet. So what are we doing here? Do you know what I'm saying? Under 40 likes to 500 flex. Please stop the show quickly, I beg. Let's do it. We're going to take a momentary pause. You lot can do this. We're at 465 now. Let's get the 500 likes in. Let's do it. I'm just going to pause the show. Have a little sip of my water. Taking a momentary pause. I watched the Mobos last night. They weren't the best. However, the world boss, my GOAT, yeah, Vibes Cartel, the War Angel, yeah, he was there performing live in England. Listen, that is my artist. Anyone who knows me on a personal knows how much I love Vibes Cartel. My guy, 13 years in jail. Jeez, gassed. So that was on a side note. That was what I was up to yesterday. I was watching the Mobos because I needed to see that Vibes Cartel get his his recognition. Yeah, Bashi did kill it as well. He took home 2 awards as well. And he definitely did have album of the year. I mean, Being Broke is Expensive, wicked album. If you ain't watched that, then make sure you do. H versus Central C. Any opinion? Not really. Like, I like what H did, and the clapback went at him, and then Central C just done a little comment thing saying fair play. Idiot beef. It's not no proper thing. But H can spit though. H can spit. No one knows what I'm doing, to be honest, Kenny. What are you doing, Joe Blackman? What's going on? What you been on? We're at 489. I'm waiting for those likes before we carry on with the show. Little Yo-Yo's right. He said we're almost there. 10 likes left. Let's do it, my people. Let's do it. Hit that like button. Let's get to 500. We're nearly there. 10 more likes, brother. 10 more. Come on. I believe in you lot. 491. If you haven't done it, just hit the like button right now. It's right there. Just go, but. Joe's putting up more Eric Ten Hag posters in his bathroom. Ross. Come on, people. Flex, we need to move on from Bruno Fernandes. The sooner we do it, the better. I don't want to see him go like Rashford. Plus, we need to sell him before his price declines. One more like, guys. We're at 499. That was Benni who says that as well. A lot of people onto Bruno Fernandes. I was after the game, but in terms of he has to go, I don't agree with that. Flex, coincidence, how you spoke about Ten Hag and Joe appears. Because what is it, Joe? That's your guy, isn't it? That's your guy. We're at 510 as well. Big up to each and every single one of you who did that. We're gonna carry on. Joe, is that your guy? Is that what's? Do you know what I'm saying? Is that you just haven't? You've been crying on your sofa, bro. Let it go, man. Let it go. Do you know what I'm saying? Let it go. A real quick one as well, actually. I saved some of these aside, some of the comments that Lenny Yoro had, because he already spoke about Amorim. Is this from the same one? Because he spoke about Amorim, like, I swear, like a couple of weeks ago. Has he done another interview, or was this? I wasn't sure whether this regurgitated the same thing. Tactically is top. Because when he said, like, if you don't train hard, he will kill you. Is this the same one? I don't think it is. I think it's a different one. Well, this is what Lenny Yoro said about Ruben Amorim. He goes, tactically, he's top. We don't have too much training to learn everything, but he tries to give us everything before the game to be 100% the best version of the team. We know he is with us, and we are with him. So it's good. He says, I spoke with him when he came to the club, and I thought this is a very good coach who likes to speak with the players and really likes to have a good relationship with the players. He understands us a lot because he was a player before, so he knows a lot about what it's like, the feelings you can have when you play or don't play, and when you have a bad game. He knows how to manage this, and I think this is the most important thing. He also says that, of course, on praise for Lenny or on praise for Varan, of course, that is good for me. This is a good impression, and I need to do what he says on the pitch. I am confident with this. Maybe I'm not 100% of my capability, but I know with time and experience, I will be. So it really is full of. It's the same one. Yeah, is it the same one then? So where's the one where he said about he'll kill you? I think it must be the same one. But I think someone as young as Lenny Yoro, who's just coming in and trying to find his feet, he ain't going to be critical of Ruben Amorim, is he? So I wouldn't really say, see, Chris Wheeler, you're wrong. Lenny says he speaks to the players fine. I know there's more to it than that. Not be that naive, but I think for someone like Lenny, let's be real. It's one of those where he's gonna be happy, but they are regurgitated quotes as well. I thought that, but I was like, this ain't the one where it says I will kill you. He would kill you if you don't train properly. But it is. I was gonna say. It shows that there was not much news that day. Big up to each and every single one of you, man. We did it. We got to over 500 likes. I love that. Can we get to a light? Can we get to a light 600 on the way out, though? Can we do that? Or a light 550 at least? 26 more to go. A light 550 on the way out. I think you guys can do that. And then who knows? Can you even smash the like button crazy enough to get us to 600? What have we got coming up today? The return of the full view. You've not been asking for it. A couple of new faces on there. Some of the same ones again as well. Loads going on. So full view tonight, 7 p.m. We'll cross over a little bit with the beginning of the Villa game. Obviously, we'll be off air for the beginning of the Man City Real Madrid game. Can't keep changing the schedule all the time. There's a game though, so that 7:30, we'll have to just leave that. Sorry, the football's on. But have us on, you know, alongside the game, alongside Rashi. We'll all have it on together and see what's going on for the first half an hour anyway. So, yeah, big up to each and every single one of you. Joe Blackman, I'm jumping on the phone. Oh, yeah, Joe Blackman. No, you was, bro. I was supposed to talk to you about this. I'm going to message you. Alex says, love the red carpet. And Show says the full view kind of dead, can't lie. Well, you're entitled to that show. That's why we have loads of shows for loads of different things so everybody can get a little something. You get me? Something for everybody. Yeah. Big up to each and every single one of you. We'll see you this evening, 7 p.m. full view. Joe Blackman, I'm going to shout you as well. Big up.